Sunny.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rox. And this is
Literature on the Rocks.
Hey.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, we are. Here we are.
Here we are. Again. Time after time again.
Should we tell the world what you did?
What you did? What did you do?
You know what, Derek Machado? I don't like that. I did. I thought I hit record and we just spent the last 30 minutes talking about all these great things, and now
none of it was captured.
It's a mere
we're gonna
memory.
Fake our sipping of the cocktail, so you guys.
We already tried it.
But we're gonna try and reenact the
gonna
last
pretend
30
I
minutes
didn't
of our
try it
lives.
already.
We're gonna call you out on it.
I mean, we had to. Today is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. Okay, so getting into who Jason is. Jason Rekulak. Jason is an American author and publisher best known for his work in the thriller and mystery genres. Before becoming a novelist, he had an extensive career in publishing, working as a senior editor at Quirk Books, where he contributed to the success of several quirky projects. One of the most famous books Jason worked on at Quirk was Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, a mashup of the classic Jane Austen novel and a zombie apocalypse.
Okay, wait, only because we kind of talked about this already. When you say worked on, he's not the author in those books.
Correct.
He's just...
He works in the publishing world, so he's helping with the publishing of it.
He is just not writing it, but helping fine-tune things.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Is he an editor?
Publisher. This was adapted into a film in 2016, helping to popularize the genre of mashup fiction, where classic literature is combined with genre elements like horror or fantasy. So Jason also worked on other titles, such as Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which was also adopted into a film in 2016. It's a fantasy novel that paired a mystery storyline with vintage photographs. These types of books, those that push boundaries and experiment with form, were the kind of projects that Jason thrived on. His debut novel, The Impossible Fortress, earned attention to its nostalgic and witty portrayal of 1980s adolescence, drawing on his own experiences growing up during that time. However, it's his follow-up thriller Hidden Pictures that truly showcased his unique blend of suspense, psychological depth, and supernatural edge. His most recent work is The Last One at the Wedding, released in 2024. Jason lives in Philadelphia with his family, and an interesting fact is that apart from his novels, he has a deep love for pop culture and often weaves references to music, film, and tech into his books, which adds layers of relatability and intrigue. And when he's not writing, Jason enjoys discussing books and the quirky world of publishing.
I just want everyone to know that the quirky projects that he worked on at Quirk Books was a Rox. Rox
No,
made that up.
Quirk Books is the place.
Yes, but you
quirky
calling it
project.
quirky
But the
projects,
puns.
that was you.
They are quirky projects.
You're so punny.
They are, but you did a good job with being cute with it.
Well, thank
You're
you.
so
thank
cute.
you. So that is a little bit about Jason Rekulak. So you want me to tell you a little about Hidden Pictures?
Yes, please.
All right. So Hidden
No spoilers
Pictures.
in this summary.
None. Hidden Pictures is an Amazon.com thriller of the year, a Goodreads choice winner, and is being optioned for Netflix. It is a psychological thriller that blends suspense with a touch of supernatural intrigue. The story follows Mallory, a young woman who takes a job as a live-in nanny for a wealthy family. She's tasked with caring for Teddy, their 9-year-old son, who has a talent for drawing. However, his artwork begins to take a disturbing turn, featuring eerie and unsettling images that seem to hint at dark secrets. As Mallory grows closer to Teddy, she begins to uncover layers of mystery surrounding the family, Teddy's past, and the unsettling nature of his drawings. What starts as a seemingly normal job gradually spirals into a chilling journey that leaves Mallory and the reader questioning what's real and what isn't. So let's dissect the twists and turns of Hidden Pictures.
Beautiful.
That is your little synopsis on Hidden Pictures. So if you want to read it, this is your time to go do that.
Yeah, 'cause we're gonna-
Otherwise,
Pause.
we deep dive in and you getting all the spoilers. But
Yeah.
if you don't want to read it, we're about to tell you about
Listen
it.
in.
There are some trigger warnings that we want to share with you guys.
It is a paranormal book with some devious things.
Or
Drug
end.
use, murder, and some things we're not going to mention. But I mean, the book is about a child. There's trigger and warnings surrounding that child. Okay, so let me tell you about the cocktail. So we've decided to call this drink the Phantom Sketch. And it is one of the coolest looking cocktails we've made. This drink, it looks super cool. We have posted it on our social media, or we will post it on our social media. Make sure you're following us at Lit on the Rocks Pod to check it out. But if you want to make it yourself, here are the ingredients. We're doing 1.5 ounces of mezcal, 3/4 of an ounce cherry liqueur, a 1/2 ounce fresh lime juice, a 1/2 ounce honey syrup and 2 dashes of chocolate bitters, topped it with club soda, and then we garnished it with a black cherry and some dry ice. When we put into ChatGPT what we wanted it to be some paranormal vibes. So that's why the mezcal is smoky, but then the dry ice gives it a little eeriness to it.
Yeah, it's the haunting on the
It also
tongue.
looks super cool.
It's so cool.
It
We've
was
never
really
used
cool.
dry ice before. It was very cool.
And it was very apparent in our reactions.
Yeah.
We dropped the ice in there. We sounded like middle schoolers with a science project.
It was great.
When that volcano went off, we were like, this drink is lit.
We were so proud.
Yes, let's go ahead and give it a taste.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. Cheers.
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 You know what? Still surprisingly good.
It is so good. And I don't like mezcal. So
No.
it is very good. The mix of the lime and the cherry inside really,
Give it a little something.
it gives it it's a delicious twist with the smoke. It's nice.
I don't like spicy cocktails.
Me either.
And I like savory things, but I think when it comes to my cocktails, I lean a little bit more on the sweet side.
Same.
Sweet or strong.
I like them strong and sweet.
But for this one, I really like it. Like, I like the little smokiness to it.
Real quick, I can tell you, a publisher is responsible for the production and distribution of content, such as books, magazines, and digital publications. They're responsible for content selection, so researching markets and selecting projects. They are responsible for the design, so working with graphic designers to create professional-looking materials. The production, managing the production process, including coordinating with printing companies. Editing and proofreading, so they ensure that the content is grammatically correct and tells a story.
So if there's any grammatical error, we're blaming Jason.
Anyways, that's the gist of what the world of publishing is. And
I do want to say, this is one of the books that I feel pretty strongly. I have listened to it and I have read it physically now. And it is for sure better reading it physically because there are pictures of what the kid is drawing.
Oh, they don't describe them in the
They
audiobook?
do, but
You don't
it's
see
just not
them.
the same vibes.
Yeah.
Right? Looking at it and seeing what this picture looks like that this kid's drawing, it is creepy. When they describe it, you can understand that it's creepy. Okay, so let's dive into our chumpies.
Chumpy
Chumples.
number one.
Chumpy number 1, chapters 1 through 5. We start off the book with a recount of main character. Her name is Mallory Quinn. At the start of the book, she's 19 years old and she is, I would say, going through withdrawals, but she is trying to get some more extra cash and she goes into this study. And because she is lacking some drugs while she's in this research study, she pops a pill. I think it's Oxycontin.
Yeah, I don't know. I
It is.
really paid attention
Well,
to
I
what
know
it was exactly, but
she is
Is it?
into Oxycontin, but she does talk about how it gets too expensive, so she starts doing heroin. So I think she might have some sort of either knockoff or she has Oxycontin, but she says she pops a 40, which confused me because
you thought it was
40 is an alcohol. So, but it's 40 milligrams of Oxycontin.
But she doesn't even like pop it. She just like puts it in her mouth, sucks on it, and
to
then
like
and then
dissolve
snorts
it.
it.
get a little bit, and then she puts it away.
No, then she snorts it.
Oh, she does?
Yes.
I don't
Oh.
remember that.
I think it says she snuffs it or something like that.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I missed that.
But she's at this study that's paying her $20 an hour, and she's got to wait in this waiting room for a few hours. She's okay with it because she's getting paid $20 an
yeah,
hour to be
she's
there.
getting drug
And
money.
so she is waiting. They call her back, and there's these men that are all looking down at their computers. The girl, she doesn't really remember her name. I think she thinks it's Susan. Susan is the lead on the study. She puts Mallory in this room with these men and tells her, we're going to blindfold you. Every time you feel a man's gaze on you, we want you to raise your hand, keep it raised until you can no longer feel it. She's like, okay. She goes in. They make her do it 3 times. At the end, the men stand up and are applauding because she was one of the only people, they've been doing it for weeks. She was like the only person who got it so well. It was like 97%. She was 97%
Her
accurate.
accuracy
Yes.
was on point.
But she was hearing a buzzing noise.
And she says, I could feel it, which you probably felt it, but I also hear like a mosquito in my ear. And that's important because it does play a part throughout the rest of the book. She hears mosquitoes or she feels watched. And after this, the girls, it's been amazing. We want to study you more. Will you be willing to come back? And she's like, for $20 an hour? Hell yeah. But then that night she sells her iPhone for more drugs and she never talks to the people again. So now we
she
fast
had consistent income.
potential for consistent income. Drug money was more important. And right
Yeah,
now.
that is the world of addiction. It
Yeah.
is.
Now we fast forward. She's 21 years old. She's 18 months sober. And she recalls this, but she can't find any records of it when she's done research to try and find. And her sponsor, who is named Russell, he's like the 65-year-old man who he still like lifts 200 pounds, I think it says. So he's a built 65-year-old man. She is told by Russell that it's potentially a false memory. Drug addicts experience it all the time. You have these false memories. It's probably what what it is. So
That's
she just
wild to
moves
think
past
about.
it.
That
It's a common thing.
if you're an addict, there could be a portion of your life that's totally make believe.
That you remember, but it's not actually real.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
And
real.
that you really fully believe it and
Oh,
see it and felt it, and it's just non-existent. That's wild to
Yeah.
me. That's crazy.
It is wild. It is a wild thing. So she just kind of moves past it. Russell ends up securing her a summer job interview with his sisters, like a friend of his sisters. They need a nanny. Their names are Ted and Caroline Maxwell.
Caroline.
Something mighty fine. Ted and Caroline have a 5-year-old son named Teddy. Caroline is a doctor. She works with addicts who are often veterans. So she's not fazed by the fact that Mallory is an addict, right? She's a recovering addict. Mallory is currently living in what she refers to as a 3-quarter home because she feels like she's already proved that.
It's not a halfway house.
Like she's almost out of the halfway house is how she's seeing it, right?
Well, it's a different type of
Is there
house.
such a
It's
thing as a 3/4 house?
No,
but
it's a
that's-
halfway
oh.
house.
It-
It is a halfway house, but they don't call it a halfway house. The people that live in it don't call it a halfway house because
not
they
as
feel like they've
restrictive.
proved
Yeah.
themselves enough, so they have a lot
Ah,
more freedoms.
got
So
it.
they refer to it as a 3/4 house, but
It's a halfway
It's a
house.
transitional
halfway house.
house.
Yeah.
Transitions. Got it. Okay.
so she has a lot more freedoms. She currently works for a daycare, which is called Aunt Becky's Care something, which is because of ABCs. So when she goes to this interview, they're like, "Oh, you work for your Aunt Becky?" And she's like, "No, I work for a real daycare system. It's just they call it Aunt Becky's Child Care." Yeah, Aunt Becky's Child Care because of ABCs. She gets to go to this interview because Russell is signing for her. Like, yes, she's good. She goes to the interview. Teddy answers the door, but is very shy, so he like runs away and he starts drawing. Mallory walks in and finds Caroline, starts interviewing her, and Ted isn't there at first, but eventually he comes in. It's clear that Caroline is all for hiring Mallory at this point. She's starting to interact a little bit with Teddy. She's commenting on Teddy's drawings. Teddy's warming up to her, and Caroline just kind of gets this vibe like, "Oh, I think she's right." But as soon as Ted walks in, he's
Yeah,
not
he's very
for it.
skeptical from
He's-
the very beginning.
Yes.
Part of the thing with this family is that they recently moved from Spain,
Yeah.
and that's why they're looking for a nanny in this new town.
He asks her questions like, "Have you ever traveled outside the country?" She's like, "No," and he like makes a mark like X. Do you know how to speak another language? She like makes a joke like, "I know how to speak Jersey, if that counts," right? And he's like, "No." So he's definitely intimidating. And in order to find her resume, he like pulls out an envelope with like 50 other resumes. Obviously, they have options. So Mallory's
Yeah.
feeling super insecure. Caroline's like, "I'm taking you away from this. Ted, get the kid. I'm going to go take her to the back house." They're like walking to her, what would potentially be her new house. And it's beautiful. It's
It's
a
much better
paradise
quarters than what you get out of housemaid.
out of the housemaid. I said that so many times in my notes throughout the
I did
book.
too.
Like
Like this
And-
is so much more inviting.
yes, and anytime Ted was nice to her, I'm like, "Oh, I have a little bit of PTSD from housemaid." It's very pretty. When they open the door, it's like stocked shelves. She's decorated it with luxury furniture and luxury decor. It's got a beautiful bed. It's like
Can I
Mallory's
say that if
dream.
I wasn't married with a family, I would totally take this job.
Heck yeah.
Right.
If I was 21 looking for a
Yes.
job,
Yes.
I would 1,000% be a living nanny.
I would be like, sign
Get to
me
play
up.
with the kid all day and just
Yes.
hang out.
Yeah.
That sounds like the life.
And
Right.
you have this beautiful home.
With a pool.
That you're not paying rent for?
Yes.
So you're just pocketing that income?
How was this
For
not an
debauchery?
option when I was 20?
Debauchery. But you're not allowed to have people at your house.
Oh, they can't
right.
sleep
There's
over.
a lot of there's a lot of rules.
With all
Not
that money
right.
saved, go get a hotel.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, can
Debauchery.
I'm just saying this sounded like a pretty dang good gig. That was my thought process in the beginning. Like, hey, this sounds pretty legit. I
It
would take
does.
this.
And my-
I would take it if I was 21.
My little lizard brain was like, too good to be true.
Yes.
Yeah.
That and because we like read books like this all the time. So anytime Ted was nice to her throughout the book, I'm like, red flag.
Yeah.
He values your opinion. Red flag.
He likes you too much. Red
He
flag.
wants to know your 21-year-old opinion about marketing.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Yes. Did forget to mention the interview before Ted shows up. She notices, "What a beautiful drawing you're doing, Teddy. You must be so gifted," which was one of the key words that Russell
yes.
suggested you
Oh,
use
yeah.
to get it. Like, make sure you call him gifted because everyone who lives in this neighborhood wants their child to be gifted.
I mean,
So,
who doesn't want their
I
child to
know,
be
yeah.
gifted?
My children are gifted.
Mine
Mine is
too.
clearly a genius already.
We all have gifted
Every
children.
day, she's a common day Mozart.
because she says, oh, he seems to be very gifted, Caroline's like, let me show you his other drawings. I save every single one of them. She starts flipping through them, and they're like general kid pictures of goats and
Houses.
yeah, houses, trees, whatever.
Grass.
And then the last one is like this picture that's clearly creepy.
There's
It's
like a creepy entity in there.
Yes, there's like a tall, thin woman with long dark hair and just sockets for eyes. Like there's not really eyeballs, and then like a kid standing next to her. And so she's like, oh, this is, so we get to meet Anya in this, or get to hear about Anya. Anya is Teddy's special friend.
Yes. His imaginary friend.
Yes, it's
Yes.
his imaginary friend, which Mallory fully supports this. Yeah, it's not strange at all. He's in this new place. He's learning new things. He's created an imaginary friend. I get it.
How would you handle your children have an imaginary friend that look like that? Because my child isn't old enough to draw and do things like that. Your guys' children are. So how would you act if your child, your oldest,
I'd be
is
having a priest come over. I'm just kidding.
your child,
No,
your oldest is old enough to really put some detail into her drawings.
Yeah.
So how would you react to that?
I think we would have a conversation, just like when they draw anything. Oh, tell me about it. Like, what's going on in here? And like, what do they do?
What a
And-
logical parent you are.
yeah.
I immediately am like, bless this house.
But at the sage, where's the holy water?
Yes.
But I think we would have a talk about it. I think we learn more why they do what they do.
Yes, but I'm just, if we're
And they
at
do
this
talk to
point,
him
right?
about it.
Yeah.
but they tell him it's not real. And so you need to stop because you're scaring Mallory.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about it?
My kid has already talked about having a little bit of an imaginary friend, but not in the sense where my imaginary friend is my best friend and this is all I play with and I hang out. Right? It's more like,
I needed somebody to play with, so I have a friend.
yes,
Yeah.
or and usually it's someone we know in real life, right? It'll be like, oh, I'm playing with Rachel's daughter,
Yeah.
and she's gonna just love this, right? Like, and then it's like, I want her to really come over and play with
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's more like that, than
Like
it is-
envisioning somebody being there and then wanting it. Yeah.
Yes. And so, yeah. So I don't know. I don't think I would be immediately on the defense. Who's there? What's happening? Why are you talking to someone?
Yeah. Just like explain what this is.
But the
Yeah.
picture, I think I would be like, what is this?
Yeah.
Where
I would
did you see
immediately
this?
be like, can you tell me why this
said
is
under
like
your
this?
bed?
Who's Anya? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
I feel like that
yes.
part, there would be
In your
parts that for sure
closet?
creeped me out. Like you saw her where?
Yeah, in your closet?
He's
It's
gonna
a-
sleep in my room from now on. We don't go in there at
Does
night.
she go into the bathroom with you? Because that's creepy.
Moaning Myrtle. That's immediately what I thought of.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
I think scene, and again, this is where the visual of having the actual book comes into play because the picture is creepy.
Yes. Can I say really quickly, and then I'll let you move on, that as we're progressing through the story and we're seeing these pictures, I'm reading this book in the middle of the night with
Same.
my
Yeah.
child sleeping next to me and my husband on one side, and it's dark. So I'm trying to read by light of my phone. I, at one point, peeked out from under my covers and like looked into the darkness and was like, I can't read this right now. I need to go back. I just need to go to sleep. I'm kind of scared.
Yes. Yes. There were definitely moments when I'm like, I have to change and my clothes are in the closet and the closet is far and dark and I have to walk all the way over there to turn on the light. I'm sleeping in my jeans.
Childhood traumas unlocked. I was definitely afraid of the dark when I was a kid, and this really brought
It
some
made you-
memories.
Oh,
Made you
God.
afraid again.
Yes.
It was creepy. It for sure was creepy. So now we move past it. She sees this fully stocked, beautiful place to live. She's on board. And then Ted walks in and basically squashes her dreams. And Russell, before she walks out of gets out of the car, they like he's like, here's your trump card, right? Here's what you show them. If,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh,
And you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know. And so finally it gets to the point I wrote, finally, this is why I kept reading. I wanted to know what the heck this trump card was. And it's a drug test. It's
Test me.
pea sticks.
Yeah.
I'll prove to you that
You can
I'm
test
sober
me whenever you want and I'll be
Yes.
sober.
and capable of taking care of your child.
Yes. I have no desire to go back to that life.
Yes, I can't blame Ted for being skeptical of this drug addict
For sure.
to take care of my child. This is my pride and joy.
So she leaves the house defeated. She's obviously, Ted hates me. I'm not going to get this job. She goes to Starbucks. She runs into Russell and she's like, oh, it went horrible. I didn't get it. And Russell's like, surprise. I just got off the phone with her. She called me pretty much immediately after you left. You did it. You're hired. You start in 3 days. So she moves out of her house and moves into the Maxwells. When she moves in and starts being a nanny to Teddy, she realizes quickly Teddy has some quirks. He wears the same striped shirt every day, this purple and whatever striped shirts. There's also rules to the house. She's not supposed to talk about religion. She's obviously not supposed to do drugs, smoking, whatever. And then she's got some rules like no religion, only science, no red meat, things like that. Anyway, so she's now trying to be this nanny for Teddy. He starts talking more and more about how Anya is telling him, I shouldn't have to clean this up. That's my mom's job. Or I would probably really like a hamburger, so I want a hamburger, but we don't eat red meat. And so there's all these things where anytime Teddy is misbehaving, it's due to something that Anya is telling him.
Mm-hmm.
So Anya's kind of blamed for a lot of his misbehavior. She talks to Ted and Caroline about it. Caroline tells her to just, move past it, kind of ignore it. And Ted is like, no, you need to tell him that Anya isn't real. She kind of takes a midway approach where she's like in the middle of grounds where she is going to talk to him about Anya, and she starts asking questions, where is she? Things like that. And he's like, no, she's not in the room. And he seems almost like he's lying. And then he's drawn this picture. It's Mallory and him sitting at a table sharing a plate of cookies, which is what they were doing when they were talking about it. And under the table, Anya is there with her black,
Creepy.
soulless eyes, long dark hair, and twisted up body. Like that would freak me out for sure. So the Maxwells don't give Teddy a lot of screen time, but they do have a weekly movie night. Teddy loves the movie Wizard of Oz. And so later they are outside by the pool and they like reenact Wizard of Oz. That's like one of the games they play in the pool. Mallory gets out of the pool. She's drying off. Teddy starts playing on his own and starts asking these deep questions about death. What happens to your soul? Like what happens to the person inside of your body when you die? And I know your body's dead, but what happens to the person inside of you? And obviously Mallory's not allowed to talk about religion. So she says, defer to your parents. You need to talk to your parents. They start playing Wizard of Oz again. And as she is the melting wicked witch of the West, in walks handsome Adrian. He's a landscaper.
Yes.
For the family. Yeah, he is a Mexican man. He's pretty young, but maybe either
He's about her age.
About her
He's
age.
like in college.
He is in college, yes. So he's like, I'm going to mow the lawn on this big lawnmower. And Teddy loves him. And so he's watching him, and Adrian's like showing off, doing tricks on the lawnmower and stuff. And eventually Adrian gets finished. He walks up and Teddy's like, I've got a drawing I did for you. He runs inside. And that's when she decides she's going to lie about her life. She doesn't tell him that she's an addict. She tells him that she is on the cross-country team at Penn State, and Adrian's super interested.
His dad owns the landscaping company, and he's just there for the summer, like while he's back home from school for the summer.
And she doesn't know that. He's some landscaper, but there's some hints that allude to, he's got some money. As they go off, Teddy and Mallory go off to shower. There's a strict rule. Teddy is trying to become independent, so you cannot help him go to the bathroom. We don't want you to help him in the shower. So she's got to let him go and shower on his own. She's kind of yelling over the wall to
But it's an
guide
outdoor
him.
shower, too.
It's an outdoor shower.
Very fancy.
As he is kind of getting ready, she's about to go into the shower. He runs inside to change. The neighbor, Mitzi, comes over. She's this pot-smoking aura reader. And she says some really offensive things, talking about, don't put your goodies on display for him, for these Mexicans that have already illegally crossed over the border.
Oh, yeah. She's hella racist.
She's hella racist. So she's like, you are cute and young and cover up your goods, you little hussy.
Yeah. They can't control themselves, these heathens from across the border.
Don't be
Yes.
mixing with the likes of these folk.
Yes.
So rude.
Anyways.
She only knew we are amazing, all right?
Yeah, you guys are.
Well mixed
Yeah.
in our house.
Yes.
But she does warn Mallory that the guest house was dubbed as the Devil House when she was younger because there was an artist. So she was allegedly murdered there. And so she believes it's to be haunted.
Because she can see auras and
yes.
she knows the spirit world.
Yeah. Oh, and nobody has lived in it or been in it really. It was turned into a shed. Nobody's really lived in it since.
Oh, and this family or the family before rebuilt it and made it into more of a home. A little secondary property.
So Mallory's the first one to live in it since the murder of Annie Barrett. On the weekends, the Maxwells go on these family outings while Mallory gets to stay behind. She comes into the house to start taking care of Teddy, and Caroline is washing his sheets because he's been wetting the bed.
But not to mention it to him because he's
we're just
super
gonna-
embarrassed.
Yeah, he's super embarrassed. Don't mention it to him. But can you switch over the sheets from the washer to the dryer
Yeah.
today? And so she's like, yeah, sure. So typically they have this whole routine where they have breakfast, then they go and explore or do something fun in the morning. A lot of times Teddy's favorite thing is to explore the forest. So they play make-believe. They have all these different names for the...
Because the forest is like at the edge of their property line.
yes.
So they're just stepping out. There's little streams and
And Caroline mentioned when they
Yeah.
first started work, you can go ahead and go into the forest, just beware because there is poison ivy, right? That's like her only warning. She's fine with it. But they have, like, they create these names for like the road. This trail is called the Yellow Brick Road and things like that. They play and then they come back, and in the middle of the day when it's the hottest, they'll have lunch, and then Teddy gets an hour of quiet time. And he goes up to his room. He can draw. He can do whatever. But he's in his room. It's quiet time. And a lot of times Mallory will rest her eyes for an hour, or she might do some chores, but she is typically just on her own for this hour. Teddy comes downstairs and will wake her up after the hour's over. And a lot of times he's drawing. Well, this instance, she has to go and change the sheets over. So she's walking up and she overhears Teddy talking to someone. This is a one-sided conversation about, oh, add more stars or whatever. It's just like these little pieces that she can hear him talking to someone. And after the hour's up, he comes downstairs, look at my drawing, and it is a picture of a woman being dragged through the forest by her ankles by a man walking backwards. So it's like a man walking backwards,
Like
holding
he's
a woman by his,
dragging her.
yes. And there's, it's at night because there's a moon and a lot of stars in the sky. She goes to put it into the,
Pile of drawings.
and Teddy's like, oh no, Anya wants that one. That one's for you. That one's not one for mom. That one's for you. Don't show mom that one. Because she learned about Annie Barrett from the crazy next door neighbor, Mitzi, she ends up buying a tablet, and she loves Hallmark movies. So she also buys a subscription to Hallmark. She's like, you won't see a prostitute getting high in a Hallmark movie. So she buys it, right? It's a safe thing for her to watch.
Not
So
triggering.
it's not triggering. Yeah. So Mallory buys this tablet and then she starts searching for more information about Annie Barrett. Nothing really pops out, but something smacks her window and startles her. She does kind of mention in this first part, she'll be laying in that room. And after she learns about Annie Barrett, she hears those mosquitoes. She starts hearing the mosquitoes and feeling like someone's watching her. And she feels like maybe it's just an animal outside, or there's some gnats that keep hitting the window. So it's probably just this big fat
gnats.
gnat. Yeah, right. So this big gnat hits the window and it startles her. And then Russell calls to check on her. He senses something is wrong, but after deflecting, he promises to send her some swimming exercises for the pool. Like he's like, have you been running? She's like, yeah, kind of. And then he's do some swimming exercises. And that is the first Chumpy.
So we jump into Chumpy number 2, chapters 6 through 11. Mallory, she was a pretty hefty runner. So Mallory swimming sprints the next night and she hears a branch crack and a shirtless Ted enters the pool with her. Red flag. He's an efficient swimmer and gives her some breathing tips. So as she exits the pool, he notices a Philadelphia Flyer tattoo on her.
This is like a red flag, right?
Yeah.
He's a
Why are
creep.
you watching my body so quick that you see this tiny tattoo that I tried to hide?
Ugh.
So Mallory is friends with an older man named Isaac and got the tattoo to impress him with the hopes of staying in his drug den. So that's the whole story behind her tattoo. Inside, Carolyn asks about the phone call from the school. So during the day, the previous day there, Mallory received a phone call, answered it. It was the school calling about Teddy's enrollment. He is 5, so he's going to need to be starting school in the fall. And this is the summer right before. She completely forgot to tell Carolyn and she's apologizing. But Carolyn this is the first time we see her get impatient and angry with her because she's upset Teddy might lose his spot if we don't answer these things timely. So she goes back to her cabin and Mallory hears something sliding against the wall and then under her floorboards, like something's going underneath. Pries open the floor panel and screams, and within seconds, which is red flag, Caroline and Ted are there. Ted catches, it was a possum. Ted catches the possum causing the issue and fixes the floorboards while Caroline and Mallory have tea. It goes on a little bit longer, and on July 4th, Independence Day, Mallory is running and passes a flower castle, which is this home with all these beautiful flowers all around it. And Adrian's coming out of the house. Adrian steps out with his parents in tow, and Adrian introduces Mallory to his parents as a Penn State runner. So that's the lie she told him.
Ouch.
His mother, Sophia, looks suspicious of Mallory and asks her major. Mallory says her major is in education, which elates Sophia as she is a 4th grade teacher. Ignacio, Adrian's father, asks which flowers are her favorite. He's very proud of his flowers because he is a landscaper. And she hesitantly points to an orange tulip vine.
There was some sort of reasoning why he was like, oh, that's interesting. This is like a horoscope almost. Like, oh, you're
Like
you're a Scorpio? Oh, that means you're blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, this is your favorite flower? Oh.
But he's like, I think they're beautiful, but the mom stays very leery of her. The next day, Teddy won't play with the other kids at the park. Later, he wakes Mallory from a nap and gives her a drawing of a man shoveling dirt over Anya. Teddy says the man stole Anya's little girl. Mallory visits Mitzi when the Maxwells are out at dinner, and Mallory has a theory about Teddy's drawings and thinks Mitzi might be helpful. She thinks Anya and Annie's names are too similar to be a coincidence, and she wonders if Anya's spirit is using Teddy to communicate through those drawings. So Mitzi suggests they make contact with a Ouija board, and Mitzi wants to talk to the Maxwells, but Mallory insists that she does not due to the no religion rule. She thinks that's going to mess up her job. That night, Mallory sleeps super poorly. She naps during Teddy's quiet time, and she wakes up to a new drawing. It shows Anya screaming with 2 hands on her throat.
These drawings are progressively getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Scarier and scarier.
And I think they're also progressively getting more detailed, aren't they?
Yes, they're getting better too as he goes. Mallory gathers the photos to speak to Carolyn and Ted, and they brush brush off the drawing, stating that Ted reads him Grimm's fairy tales at night. So this is what's causing all of these
crazy
unsavory
drawings.
Because like this person is for sure getting buried, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at the photo and it is 1000% a buried person.
Yeah, there's a dead person in a hole getting buried.
There's just dirt dribbling over
That's because
open
these
hole.
dark fairy tales.
Yeah, of course.
So Mallory tells them her theory that they're drawings of Annie Barrett, and the Maxwells are just annoyed. Like, we don't subscribe to that. No. Caroline is furious to find that Mallory spoke to Mitzi first. Ted tells Teddy that his drawings are scaring Mallory, and Ted then hugs Mallory, red flag, and tells her that getting Teddy was an ordeal. So Caroline like blows up, she steps away, and Ted is comforting Mallory. We really had a hard time conceiving and getting Teddy, so, you know, she's insecure, and she gives the drawings to Ted and tears them in half. In the morning, Carolyn apologizes and offers the guest room in the house to Mallory. While on a walk, Teddy asks why she has bumps poking through her swimsuit, and Caroline is alarmed at Teddy's questions, and the next day they bring home an assortment of sexual development books which are explicit. That part was crazy to me. I would never.
He's 5.
He's 5.
Yeah.
There's
That's what I was
just-
saying. I was imagining him a little bit older, but
But these were detailed, explicit books about sexual acts and stuff. It's not
this
the
is too
appropriate
much. Yes.
for this age. Carolyn makes dinner and does not invite Mallory to join. So this is their first little rift.
Yeah,
that
the
they
first
have.
time that she doesn't feel super welcomed.
yes.
And is noticing a separation between their family and her, because otherwise she's been invited to all the things. And
Yeah,
she
she's
has
a
been
part of the
welcome in the
family.
home.
The way I imagine a
Yes.
live-in nanny would be, right?
The next day, Mallory sees Teddy's hands have charcoal like he's been drawing, but doesn't find his photos. The next morning, before the trash is picked up, she realized she didn't check the trash bin in his room for photos. So she runs to the curb, which probably makes her look like a crazy person,
Yes.
and finds these detailed and disturbing drawings. They detail a woman being strangled in a forest and a man digging a grave. The new drawings are not that of a child, and Mallory doesn't believe that Teddy drew them. On Monday, Mallory goes to the bookstore and runs into Adrian. When he sees her psychology book, she tells him about her investigation, which is crazy. She has this crazy batshit theory that her house is haunted by this World War II ghost, and that the World War II ghost is communicating through this child, and he's just like, cool, let's bunker down and figure this shit out. Like,
What a ride or die, because he
Yeah.
immediately just subscribes to this craziness and
Right.
says, let's do this.
But some of those pictures she finds in the trash are
there's
like,
no way that Teddy drew them.
yes. It's like,
None.
where did these come from? 'Cause
like,
they
I
are-
couldn't
they're-
have even drawn them.
They're
Right.
gorgeous. They're becoming more
Elaborate.
Yes.
Yes. So Adrian says Annie Barrett is a local boogeyman, and Mallory shows him the drawings and tells her all her whole theory, and she thinks they improve because Annie is learning to draw with someone else's arm. So they were really rough at first because she's
Figuring out how to move this like
Right.
post arm.
In the first 5 chapters, where he talks like, no, she's not drawing for me. She's telling me what to draw, and I'm drawing it.
And it kind of looks that way at first.
yes, he's drawing them, but for sure, eventually, she's
No, you
I'm
know
taking
what?
over his body.
Let me just do this for you.
Yeah, you
Right.
you don't have
You're
the
not
detail
getting
I
the
need
point
you to have,
across.
kid. Yeah.
Yes. I need it to be a little more detailed. They're not going to understand what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
With your
and
little
it's not a little more detailed.
kindergarten
It is
photos.
hanging an art gallery detailed. Like
Yeah.
it is beautiful.
So Adrian, his mom is a 4th grade teacher, but during the summer she works in the library. And so he's like, hey, my mom can search for photos of Annie in the city archives and we can compare them. So as they walk home, Mallory has several opportunities to come clean about her Penn State lie, but she doesn't. So after saying goodbye to Adrian, she hits her foot on a rock that is weighing down some new drawings. So she gets to her front door. There's a rock in front of it and there's some new drawings. They are like the ones that Ted ripped up and threw away, but they're more detailed. And that rounds out chapters 6 through 11.
So then we get into Chumpy's number 3, chapters 12 through 17. The next morning, Teddy pretends the table is a restaurant because she gets up, goes to the house, and he's, oh, hey, good morning, because he's playing with her like he usually does. And he tells her that they're at a restaurant and she's ordering food and she's getting all elaborate with it. And he's just having the best time. And while they're playing, Diana from Springbrooks Elementary School calls. Carolyn picks up the phone. She tells Teddy that it was his new principal and she can't wait to meet him, which is crazy because does the principal really call every individual student?
I think she's getting into a very good.
It is a very prestigious this very...
Possibly.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
still
know.
not the principal that calls.
No. When Mallory asks him about the new pictures, the ones that she found on her doorstep under the rock, he says he didn't leave them for her and he doesn't draw Anya anymore. Russell invites Mallory to the Cheesecake Factory that night. He is worried about her training and lack of sleep. He admits that he received a call from Caroline because she's concerned about Mallory's change in behaviors. She's going through the trash, she's talking about ghosts and talking to Mitzi, which we already know Caroline doesn't really favor Mitzi because she's some crazy lady who reads the Ouija board and
Yeah, I think she even tells
her she's also a drug addict.
Stay away from her.
Yeah, she's going to trigger you and bring you back into this life of addiction. And so Russell is obviously concerned because she's telling him, oh, she's really hanging out with this active drug
Well,
addict.
she smokes weed.
And so
Who knows
Russell,
what she does.
so he asks her to the Cheesecake Factory to check in. Russell asks if Ted has crossed any boundaries because he has been being a little bit weird this whole time.
But I think he's trying to figure out, like, why would you have been triggered all of a sudden? You've been doing really well.
Yes.
Is this man doing things to you?
Yes.
Where on this doll is he
almost like a
touching you?
protective father. Yes.
Yeah. I said, where on this doll has he touched you?
Russell walks Mallory home where she takes a drug test for him because no, I'm not doing drugs. I'm staying clean and sober. I've just been kind of busy with Teddy. My training is taking a little bit of a backseat, but I'm doing fine. Test me. It's fine. I'll prove to you. As he leaves, Mallory notices new drawings on her fridge. As she falls asleep, she creates a plan to find out who left them because they caught her off guard to look up and see these drawings on her fridge now. Mallory finds a baby monitor in the Maxwell's basement and hides the camera in Teddy's room, hoping to capture the interactions that happen during quiet time. She knows there's more going on in there and she wants to actually have physical evidence of what's happening so she can start piecing together what's going on with this kid and these drawings. As she watched the camera, the frame froze as Teddy's drawing, and when the screen clears, Teddy's lying on the mattress convulsing.
How scary.
Terrifying,
Seriously.
especially to be the nanny and you're like,
Right.
holy crap, this kid is going into seizures on my watch. First of all, I would hope that she was some sort of CPR something trained because what do you do in this situation?
Wait, there's no CPR when someone's
no,
seizing.
at least know what to do in that
There's
case.
not much you can
However,
do. But,
Yeah.
no one forewarned her that this was a possibility, so she wouldn't have
Right.
even known to be trained for it.
Right.
Mallory runs upstairs, but can't open the door. When the door finally opens, Teddy's sitting on the bed feeling the papers. He looks at Mallory, but his eyes are completely white. They're just glazed over. There's no pupils whatsoever. And when she touches him, his eyes go back to normal. He apologizes, but he doesn't know what happened. He was in a trance that whole time. Mallory thinks that Anya has been taking the drawings away before Teddy comes back to consciousness, which is why Teddy's so confused. As he cries, Mallory notices that his right hand is covered in charcoal. Later, Adrian comes over to take the drawings.
I'm sorry, she notes that he's left-handed because she is also left-handed. And so she knows he's left-handed. It's been a whole conversation. It's not
Yes.
just, I think he's left-handed.
Yes,
it's
no,
been
like,
a point
had
to be
a-
made. We're both left-handed.
Yes, and it's
And
not
so is
common.
Obama. Or-
Yeah, it's not common to find a left-handed
Yes.
person. So look at us. So later, Adrian comes over to look at the drawings that now she's realizing is in some sort of order. They start laying them out to figure out, okay, what's the sequence here? Because they're not coming in sequence and have deduced that there is some sequence happening, right?
Right.
So he comes over to look at the drawings. Mallory feels like she's being watched. So Adrian offers to sleep on the floor in her cottage. She doesn't want him to do it because she knows it's against the rules and tells him that it's fine. But as Adrian leaves, Caroline comes outside and starts talking to Mallory about Adrian. She says to invite Adrian over and use the pool. And Mallory decides that Anya wants to make contact. She is so focused on these photos at this point, and it's interesting that Caroline, yeah, bring the boy over, like go hang out, play by the pool, do the things when you're not allowed to have them over. They can't sleep over. But yeah, come over and hang out.
Yeah,
So
well,
she's-
she can have friends
Yeah, she's
and have a
encouraging it.
relationship, but he can't sleep over. That's the rule. He can
yeah.
come over and hang out.
It's-
It's again,
It's like my teenage child.
I was
Like,
just gonna say,
right,
like,
you can have a friend that is a boy, but he cannot sleep over.
or be in
but
your room.
It's allowing her to feel like
Keep the
she's
door
part
open.
of she's part of the family, though. You're allowed to use the facilities
Yes.
in the house on your time off,
Use
and you
the
should do that
amenities.
with you should use that with people that you want to spend time with.
Right.
Yeah. So
You
you,
just
can
can't
feel
sleep
somewhat
over.
comfortable
Yes.
in this space that you're spending 90% of your time. After that, Mallory decides that Anya wants to make contact. Mallory invites Adrian to come over for a pool party and to watch Teddy as she invites Mitzi over to use the spirit board in the cottage. Mitzi tells Adrian not to interrupt no matter what he hears. It's probably going to get a little crazy. And Mitzi invokes the spirit. Just my thoughts internally were just saying, do not play with that Ouija board.
I know.
Do not do that. Why do this to yourself and open up a whole world of God knows what?
You sound like like my husband.
Well, it's true. You don't know what you're doing in there. As they're doing this seance, she feels the hair brushing the back of her neck and breath on her shoulders. The planchette moves aggressively to random letters. Teddy opens the cottage door in the middle of this chaos, and Mitzi blames Mallory for moving the planchette. She really thinks that Mallory's doing all of this stuff, and Mitzi tells Teddy that they're using a spirit board to contact the dead. Okay, don't tell a 5-year-old what the heck you're doing. First of all,
Mitzi don't give a fuck.
No, she doesn't. First of all, you shouldn't be playing with this Ouija board. Second of all, don't involve this little baby.
Yeah,
this baby does
seriously.
not need to be knowing about these spirits. So Mitzi is angry and leaves wobbling across the lawn. Mallory worries that Teddy's going to tell his parents because he knows now what they were doing. That night, Caroline and Ted are waiting for her after her run. They show her a drawing and tell Mallory that they know about Mitzi and the board. Mallory tells them about her experiment and the baby monitor, and Ted scoffs that ghosts don't exist. She's trying to tell them, this is what I experienced.
Yes.
Your son is having seizures in the middle of the
But
day.
she doesn't say
and
it
you're
that
not
way.
even-
No,
Right.
but she tries to give them some idea of what's happening.
Teddy's, your son is possessed, and they know, they're just like, yeah, okay, crazy girl, keep your
That's a good point.
Jesus-y ghosts to
They're
yourself.
upset about the monitor too. You put a camera in our child's room.
Okay, creepy.
You invaded his space.
That is also true. You shouldn't. What are you doing spying on this 5-year-old? But
I'm not spying, I'm babysitting.
yes, that's,
And what I saw was him having a seizure.
Oh, but
yes, but
you
if
know
she
what?
had explained it as a seizure, not as
Yeah.
I think your child is possessed.
But you know what
maybe
I-
they had been more receptive.
I forgot to say,
Hmm.
it goes back to her saying he wetting the bed. When she walks into the room and he's possessed, she just smells ammonia.
Oh, yeah.
Like pee.
So Caroline and Ted send her back to the cottage,
like
and
child
Ted
abuse.
follows her. She says they won't fire her and hugs her. Mallory thinks Ted
Ew.
needs a night to cool off. Adrian texts Mallory that his mother found a book of Annie's paintings in the library. And then at his parents' home, 5 people at a dinner party toast Mallory as a Penn State runner. Now the lie is just growing. She's living into it when she
But
knows
she,
internally.
like her inner monologue is they should not be doing this. Like, don't do
Yes.
this for me.
She feels awful about it. With the 10 steps or however many steps of her recovery, she really should just be honest at this
12.
point. Oh.
Right.
Yes. But Sophia takes Mallory aside and gives her the booklet of artwork. To Mallory's disappointment, the paintings are abstract. They have no clues. They're not even remotely close to what Anya's paintings look like. Sophia gives Mallory a phone number for a retirement community in Ohio, and that community belongs to Annie's granddaughter. So she's thinking,
She's living there. Like her
Yes.
living relative is there.
yes, and you might get some more answers. So here's where they're at. Give this person a call. She tells Adrian about the episode with the Maxwells. They kiss finally because there's been some tension going on up until this point. And
It's really romantic, like in this beautiful garden with
Yes.
a water
Like in the
feature and
backyard of their
like a
flower
fairy
castle.
tale little moment.
And Mallory continues to keep Adrian in the dark about her past. She knows that this is an opportunity to come clean because they're getting intimate, they're getting closer, but she chooses not to
should
say
have.
anything. She really should have. That was the time to do it.
She should have said it weeks ago.
Yes, but after all this time, you're finally getting onto a more personal level. This is the time
Before
to
you
say,
kiss me, I
Yeah.
have a confession.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Right.
He walks her home around midnight and he kisses her again at the cottage. They make plans for following evening, and when she walks into her cottage, Ted is lying in her bed.
Creep.
And that's how we end chapter 17.
So Ted is lying in her bed, drunk and pantless.
Oh yeah,
Crazy.
pantless. I forgot about that.
And then he's like, he's like, Caroline, turn off the light. And she's like, it's Mallory. And he's like, oh my God, I didn't realize
That
what
I'm
do you mean
hundreds
that I'm
of
in
feet
your,
away from my-
your room.
Yes.
That I walked through my acreage of my yard and ended up in this cabin and
How
got
did this
pantless.
happen?
Is he barefoot?
I don't know.
This is definitely my
Probably.
bedroom that also has a kitchen in it, like all of the sudden.
And
weird.
he's all like, ugh, and then it's clear that she has to help him. And so she has to like kneel down and put his pants on, like help him get his pants on. He can't even stand up straight. She eventually gets him out of the house, but he does talk about how, oh, I got into a fight with Caroline. And instead of going downstairs and sleeping on a couch like a normal husband would, I decided to come to your place.
I got drunk and walked across my backyard.
Oh, and then he makes a comment about Mallory's, like, you're a good mother. And she's like, I'm not a mother. Well, you would be. And he talks about how he would take care of her and makes these comments. He mentions something about, oh, you only like it here because you've never traveled.
Oh, and then he talks about that. Oh,
some-
we went here in college and it was the
island.
best place ever. And I would take you there. You should go there.
Yes.
So all of these books are just teaching me that I don't need a live-in nanny. I'll do it myself.
I'd be okay with having to live in nanny.
She
I
has
just
to be
don't need a
97.
douchebag husband.
Oh,
No, what's it?
I need a Mrs. Doubtfire is what I need.
Yes. He
but
was
not
he was
A man
prime.
dressed up as a woman?
Not an
A
older.
false old woman who's actually a man who is your age? Yeah, sign me up.
A faux
No,
granny.
I mean like the premise of who Mrs. Doubtfire was the older woman.
Yeah.
who's
You
just
want
real
a,
sweet.
a real Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yes.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Miss?
Yes.
Is it Ms. or Mrs.? Was she married?
Mrs.
She had been because she talks about him.
Oh,
Oh,
it's been
And
a
how
long
he
yeah.
died.
time.
Oh, we need to watch that movie.
It's
It's
been
a
a
good
long
one.
time.
You know what's funny? I actually watched it recently. I turned it on for it to be in the background, and then I ended up sitting and watching the whole thing.
I haven't seen it. Like, I don't even really remember it.
Whenever I say
Good
hello,
movie.
really joyful, I think of when she like dunks her face in the pie and it's all whipped cream. Hello!
What a classic.
Anyways,
Eventually, she gets him dressed and out the door and like leaves him. So she goes, she's cleaning up the mess. She gets into her bed and she finds her bras in his bed. She's like, I don't even want to think about how these got here. And she prays that Adrian's going to forgive her because she's been lying to him. So all this stuff is happening. She throws all her sheets in the wash because clearly she doesn't want nasty Ted smell in her bed.
right.
In the morning, she wakes up and Ted and Caroline waiting to question her and talk to her about it. Ted apologizes because Mallory's like, look, let's just move past it. It's okay. Nothing happened. Let's move past it. And Caroline is he's like looking at Caroline. She's like, go on. Right. It's clearly Caroline is directing this whole show. Eventually, Ted's like, great. Thanks for forgiving me. I'm going to work. Caroline's like, oh, he's afraid you're going to sue us. And you need to be honest. Did anything happen? Mallory says, no. He didn't act inappropriately. He's in my bed. That's inappropriate for a boss. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're pantsless. Like
Stay out of my phone. Stay out of my
inappropriate
bed.
for you to be at my place in the middle of the night already to begin with, but to be there pantsless?
Yeah. No thanks. Nope. And bras are in my bed that weren't there before. Inappropriate. But she doesn't tell Caroline about all those details. She just basically says he was
She
drunk.
just wants to move on.
Yes, and Caroline even knows about the island. She's like, oh yeah, Ted talks about that every time he gets drunk. Anyway, so now she's babysitting. They're trying to avoid him drawing these things anymore. Like, we're gonna move past it. So instead, I'm gonna give you a tablet, which he's had limited screen time. So now he has this tablet. He's obsessed with Angry Birds.
Angry Birds, yeah.
Yeah. Even to the she's like, let's go and go for a walk. The tablet is dead. So let's go for a walk in the forest. They go for a walk in this forest and all he can talk about is Angry Birds. Like, oh, the yellow ones are really good for taking down structures, right? And she's like, look at this magical place. And he's like, oh yeah, that is cool. Oh, by the way, these purple birds or whatever, right?
He's like trying to figure out his strategy to beat the
Yes.
level and yes.
cannot stop thinking about it. Then it becomes quiet time. He goes to his room with a tablet that's now fully charged and is playing his Angry Birds. She has this idea. I'm going to make up because I don't like the way things have been, clearly having some tension in the house. And so she decides she's going to go to the grocery store and cook this big, beautiful, magnificent dinner. She sits down and somehow she falls asleep. She doesn't realize that she's fallen asleep. She doesn't even remember how she got to a position where she could fall asleep, but she falls asleep and she has a dream about Teddy. She's taking Teddy to Storyland. And in this dream, Teddy gets lost. So it's like this beautiful dream and then it becomes a nightmare because Teddy gets lost and she sees him. She's running across and it becomes her sister who passed away. Her sister's like, oh, don't worry about the accident. This accident that happened, it wasn't your fault. Of course I'm okay. Like, don't be so weird. Let's go hang out. And then she wakes up to Teddy waking her up, telling her that the iPad needs to be charged. And she realizes she's been asleep for like 4 hours. She's like, how come you didn't wake me up? He was into his game. He wasn't even thinking. But now the iPad's dead and I gotta wake you up because I need you to charge it for me. So she slept for 4 hours.
Modern day babysitter.
Yeah, that's right. She takes a look around and she realizes that there are sketches all over the walls. She asks Ted, why would you do that? I didn't do that. She realizes
my
that been on my iPad. And Caroline had taken all of his writing utensils and put it into a place where she couldn't reach.
Teddy couldn't reach him.
Teddy couldn't reach them. So they're all down. They're all over the floor. And Mallory has charcoal all over her right hand.
Dun,
so
dun, dun.
yeah, so she's obviously feeling like
Some
she's
type of
been,
way.
Yeah, like she's been possessed. But it's 5:15. She's supposed to be going on this date with Adrian at 5:30. So she's like, they're going to be here any moment. She hears the doors. Ted, Caroline, and Adrian are all arriving to the house at the same time. And so she tells Teddy, go upstairs to your room. I don't want you to hear this. I've got to do something to stop them, to prepare them for what they're about to walk into because there's no way I'm going to be able to clean up all of these sketches all over the walls by the time they walk in here.
In seconds.
Yes.
Right.
So she goes into the kitchen kitchen to talk to them, and she tells them this is what happened. Adrian and the Maxwells arrive as she claims that Anya possessed her. Adrian is immediately like, I'm taking
Cool.
photos
Yes.
of all these pictures. Like, we're going to
Yes.
document this and figure out where they fit in the scene.
Still so like caring and just invested in the story and in what they're trying to figure out.
Yes. And so he's taking pictures, and then Caroline is kind of like, what drugs are you on? Because this is drug addict behavior. And so she starts accusing her of being on drugs and drawing these things. And Adrian totally is like, you've got this wrong. She couldn't be a world-class runner for Penn State if she was on drugs. Oh gosh, the whole scene is so cringe because Caroline gives Mallory the opportunity to come clean, and Mallory still struggles. So then Caroline and Ted are like, we thought maybe she'd be honest with you, but she's a heroin addict and she's...
Ouch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh. He's like, do you really think she'd have an athletic scholarship if she was doing heroin? And it's like, So
She came from a halfway house. Like,
Yes.
she's not the person she said she was.
she's not Penn State anything. She's never been to college. She goes to run after him because he just kind of is shocked and leaves because she's not, her silence is confirmation enough. He leaves and she goes to go after him. Caroline stops. Don't make this harder for him. And then she's, you need to take these drug tests. We need proof that you're not actually on drugs. And then she won't even let her go into the bathroom by herself. Caroline's, no, I'm going into the bathroom with you. I'm watching you pee in this cup. And you can go ahead and get yourself washed up and I'll be downstairs. We'll wait for you to do the testing. Eventually she comes downstairs. Caroline's sitting there waiting for her. And she tells her like, I'm not on drugs. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. Caroline's, it's not Teddy drawing these pictures. It's you. I've heard of your false memories. This isn't one of them. I'm not right-handed. There's no way I could have drawn. I can't even draw a straight line. There's no way I drew this on my own. And my right hand was all messed up with charcoal. It wasn't me. I was clearly possessed. Caroline puts together this story that makes you truly feel like maybe it is Mallory drawing these pictures without any sort of possession. She is having these memory lapses because she's, look at the pictures. It's clearly you with your sister who's passed away. And then you are being dragged through the mud and Russell comes to save you. He's not burying you. He's digging you up from the hole. And it does kind
Just
of
like
make
flips the whole story
Yes.
around on her.
Yes, this is not a ghost. It's clearly you. Anya is an invisible friend. And so she starts to kind of question herself. The drug test, though, comes back clean. They still fire her and say that ultimately you've left my child by himself for 4 hours. I don't care what happened. It's unexcusable and we have to let you go. But even when they do it, they take this positive twist that Mallory doesn't even realize she's being fired until the end. Russell calls her, is you've got to get to meetings. And she's very adamant. The drug tests are clean. Like, I haven't done drugs. Something's going on in this house. Russell tells her you need to get to a meeting, promising to pick her up in 3 days because
he was,
he's
like,
on
out of town
Yeah,
or
he's like in
something. He's out of
Vegas
town,
or
yeah.
on vacation. He's like, coming back. I'm going to come and get you. It'll take me some time. Mallory is obviously depressed about this. She's spending most of her days sleeping. She's sleeping 12, 14 hours. Eventually she wakes to a note, all freaked out. What did I do now? It's just a note about a farewell celebration from Caroline to Mallory. We're going to go to the beach, give you some time, but we'd like to have a night where we enjoy this for the weekend.
So
We
Teddy
want
can
to
have closure from you leaving.
Yes. So then Adrian shows up and he takes Mallory for a drive. It's a pretty silent drive. Nobody's really talking, but he takes her to Philly and she's, oh yeah, I know this place like the back of my hand. I could direct you where to go with my eyes closed. And they take her to her house where there's a man standing outside. She doesn't recognize the man. And she swears, I want to tell you this whole story, but I need you to know that the only thing I lied about was my past, how I felt in these drawings. It wasn't a lie. I was 100% honest. They go to, I think it's like a park, and Mallory confesses her whole real past. She got into a running injury. Because she got this injury, it wasn't going to end her career. And so she couldn't be in the running team anymore. So then she's in it, but she's like just being there for support because she can't run until she's healed, which should be a few weeks. Well, her mom, who is a single mom, doesn't have a whole lot of money, is kind of dependent on Mallory to help around the house and to help with her sister when she can. Her mom gets pulled in for an overtime shift and she's like, you've got to take your sister and her weird ass friend to Storyland, which is this little kids amusement park.
Yeah.
They're going ironically because they know that they're too big for it, but they are in an anime club or something. And so the friend dresses with cat ears, pink hair, draws on whiskers every day. She's a teenager going through her
Finding her style.
finding her
Yes.
style. They're going ironically, and Mallory has to take Beth and her friend. She fights her, but she eventually has to go. So her plan is we're going to be on the freeway. We're going to get to Storyland right as the race is about to end so I can get an update from my friends about who won and what happened. But her friend has a headache or something. They have to stop for a pain pill. And so it takes them 30 minutes back. So she starts getting these text messages while she's driving of her friend blowing up her phone saying, guess who got in third? You'll never believe it. And as she's looking, something fell off the back of a family's car and she ran into it, causing this huge accident. The friend got out of the car accident unscathed, but she was severely injured and Beth is the only fatality. And Mallory was close to death, but she was a near second. When she comes to, she was going on like a Saturday. When she comes to, now it's Wednesday, her mom's sitting next to her and she knows instantly that Beth passed away. But everybody blames the driver that dropped the bicycles or whatever was in the middle of the freeway. So
yeah, but she blames herself.
She blames herself because she was looking at her phone. But the phone flew out the window. Nobody found it. So there was no proof that she was looking at her phone. So nobody knew about it. It was her own secret. That injury jacks her up enough to start getting on Oxycontin. She's obviously depressed from her sister passing away and she starts relying on Oxycontin. She starts asking her friends to help her get more because there's for sure your parents have some in there. Go get me your pills. It becomes a very expensive thing. She's relying on her friends to pass school. Penn State does take away her scholarship because she's injured enough to where it makes sense, but they also know she's clearly an addict or coming on her way down this slippery slope to becoming an addict. She has friends who start giving her pills. She has friends that start telling her about how the cheaper version is heroin. And so she starts shooting heroin. She tells Adrian this whole story. It's the first time she's ever told the whole story. And once she started getting sober, she tried to reconnect with her mom, but her mom just ignored her calls. She left these long voicemails about how, with the truth, I'm telling you the truth. I am the reason Beth is dead. I was looking at my phone and it's all in a voicemail. Eventually, Mallory's mom answers one of her calls and tells her to stop calling. She blocks her phone number.
It's not the mom that answers though. It's like some guy named Tony.
She's
like a
with Tony,
boyfriend or something?
Yeah, the mom's boyfriend.
But the mom does eventually block the phone number so she can't and she...
But she never talks to her mom. It's Tony that she talks to.
So the man that was in front of her house, she has no idea. Could be Tony, but more than likely she thinks the mom probably sold the house and moved away. She's never trusted that her daughter was clean and sober. So
That sucks.
So Adrian tells her, I believe you. I wouldn't have come back except for when I got home. I went to this double feature of whatever. I went to the movies because I didn't want to tell my parents this whole thing. He took up time. When he came back in his room, there were pictures from Anya. And I could have believed that you snuck into my room and left them for me. But I truly believe that Anya was telling me I needed to believe you. It's like, so I'm here. So they go back to arrange all the extra sketches. There's all the pictures. They kind of lay them out and put them in order. He's printed the pictures that he took pictures from his phone. And now they are trying to figure out what the story is because obviously Anya's trying to tell them something. So first, a girl is present as Anya paints. Next to her, there's a little girl and a hot air balloon, a white rabbit. The girl follows the rabbit and Anya doesn't see her leaving. An angel approaches and leads the girl towards a light. Anya runs after them, but the angel either can't or won't give the girl back. Someone then appears strangling Anya as the easel is abandoned. The man then drags Anya into the forest and buries her. However, something is still missing from the narrative. There's clearly stuff in the middle because it goes from middle of the day to nighttime. They talk about, oh, this man clearly did this to her. And he's like, yeah, but the man didn't show up until hours later. So maybe it's not the man. I don't know. There obviously something is missing. And Mallory remembers Teddy said Anya talks funny. And when they did that seance with Mitzi, she said that it was alphabet soup. It was just a bunch of letters that came up. And so they come to the conclusion that it's probably, she speaks a different language. So they go back to Mitzi's home to find the notes. And when they go there, Mitzi's not home. It's an empty home, but the back door is open. She sees that there are empty hypodermic needles.
Yes.
She steps on like a cap. She turns off the TV because it's so loud. And then they find the notes and they're kind of talking about it. How can this be? And Adrian thinks maybe it's a code because it's not actually populating anything in Google when I search for it. So maybe it's a code and they're trying to break the code. And a police officer shows up at the back door and reveals that Mitzi is dead. Yeah. She's dead in the forest. They're searching and finding for any clues and they want to know her side of the story. They end up calling Caroline. Caroline tells them about her last memory of Mitzi, which she heard her screaming or talking loudly to someone in the house and eventually walks out in her pajama dress, shoeless, and goes into the woods, never to be seen again. Mallory finds it suspicious because even though her style was weird, her style was still her style and she was very much so proud of it. So she wouldn't just take a client or leave the house in just her nightgown.
Right. And she thought it was weird because when she first went over to Mitzi's and she knocked on the door, it was getting dark out and she was yelled at her. She was like, don't you come to somebody's house so late and knock on the door. So she thought it was weird that she would be out going to the forest in the evening.
It sounded like someone, like Mitzi was talking to someone. Caroline heard heard her talking to someone. And when she came out, it was almost like she was trying to follow someone, saying something like, I want to go with you, and then walked into the forest and then basically died. The police believe it's just she took too many pills or didn't remember that she had pills and she went into the forest and overdosed. Mallory realizes then that the X's that are in the letter puzzle are actually meant to be spaces. And they divide up the letters and they find out that they're Hungarian words. And the message says, yes, beware, thief, help, flower. Mallory's phone rings and it's the retirement home because she's reached out to the granddaughter
Yes.
of Annie.
Then we jump into chapters 24 through the epilogue, and the call that they get is from Jalissa Bell, who's a caregiver at the home. Dolores, who was the granddaughter, has dementia, pretty severe dementia. Jalissa, obviously, HIPAA, can't give her any information, but tells her, you're welcome to come and visit her. Adrian says Mallory should invite Anya to use her again to find more clues. Allow yourself to be possessed again so we can find this hidden narrative.
No, thank you.
Yeah, right. That night, Adrian stays in the cottage with Mallory because she figures I'm fired, so I no longer am tied to
cares?
these house rules. Mallory falls asleep and
Yeah,
dreams.
what more can they do to me?
Right. Mallory falls asleep and dreams about being dragged into the forest and about being buried. She wakes up at 3 a.m. and she wakes Adrian. He tells her she sketched a black circle around 1 a.m., but that was it. She invited Adrian to join in her bed. Come and cuddle with me. In the morning, Adrian heads to the retirement home. He will visit Dolores as Mallory spends, because this is her goodbye day with the Maxwells.
Right.
So Mallory worries that she would be a joke for future guests, the erratic nanny that drew all over the walls. Which, yeah.
I would
little bit.
definitely, yeah.
Adrian takes a photo of Annie's daughter and grandson, Curtis, and they were African American. Curtis tells Mallory and explains the tale of Annie Barrett was created because Annie's family was embarrassed that she married and had a child with someone from another race.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Annie cannot be Anya. Teddy gets into the outdoor shower as Mallory talks to a cop that was surveying Mitzi's house. The police found Mitzi's phone and they saw that Mitzi had a partial text typed to Mallory before she died. We need to talk. I was wrong about before. Anya isn't a name, it's ... Mallory tells the officer Anya was Teddy's imaginary friend, and the officer tells Mallory that Mitzi died of a heroin overdose. So Teddy and Mallory talk, and he tells her he's never been on an airplane, which they came from Spain. The family told Mallory they moved from Spain, and Teddy is adamant they drove to America. Carolyn and Ted told Mallory they took a plane. So Mallory talks to Carolyn and Ted in the den after Teddy goes to bed. Mallory notices two unfamiliar drawings. The angel from the first drawing is holding an electric wand. In the other, the angel is unloading energy into Anya's chest. So Mallory tells them Anya means mommy in Hungarian and asks why Teddy doesn't remember flying on a plane. She's starting to unravel things.
Yes, she's starting to piece some things together.
Yes. Ted says it was due to an accidental overdose of Benadryl on a flight. How do you accidentally OD your child on Benadryl?
They sleep for 14 hours.
Right.
As this book continued, it was like, these are not good parents.
Yeah, right?
Something's wrong here.
Yes.
Mallory then asks why they didn't tell her that Teddy was a girl and reveals she saw Teddy's anatomy when she was in the outdoor shower.
They were in the pool
Yes.
party, and for whatever reason,
They used
she
the
needed to
outdoor
go
shower.
into the outdoor shower to help Teddy with something. I don't
And for
remember
whatever
what.
Yeah, she
reason,
asked
Teddy
for help
couldn't
for
do
something.
it.
Yeah.
And so she had to like go in to do it.
Yes.
And that's when she notices.
Yes.
Interesting.
That Teddy is not a little boy.
No.
Carolyn says that after 3 years of being a girl, Teddy chose Ted's name and decided to identify as a boy. Mallory realized they don't have a vaccination record for Teddy, which is why the school is constantly calling. She accused Ted and Caroline of kidnapping someone's daughter and raising her as a boy. When she goes to leave, Ted hits her over the head with a wine bottle. She kicks Carolyn in the shin as she walks past and bites Carolyn and pulls on her shirt as she falls. The tug of her shirt reveals an angel tattooing between Carolyn's shoulder blades. Ted comes after her with a taser. So Mallory...
That's so crazy. Like,
yeah.
This was a very like high stress scene. Oh dang, it's going down.
I think I couldn't get over the fact that
Teddy was a
was a girl.
This
Yeah,
whole
that was
time?
The
hard.
whole time.
It started to piece together when I was
Right.
like, oh,
That's
all
why
of a
she-
sudden.
yeah.
She only likes to wear the purple striped shirt.
Yes.
She wasn't interested in playing with little boys at the park. She didn't want to play cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was wanting to do little girl things. And
Yes.
that's why Ted and Carolyn were so adamant about don't get involved with any of
That's
Teddy's
why there's
things.
no media. And the one thing you're allowed to watch, Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Right, yeah. But that goes goes back the instance where Teddy was revealing himself,
yes.
and Caroline's like, he's gonna be a pedophile. We have to stop him.
Yeah.
No, it's because they were trying to hide the fact that Teddy's a
Yeah,
girl.
but who saw? I feel
Other
that's why I
kids.
yeah, so other people knew it was a girl, but that's the story. Was
But she hadn't gone to
He
school yet, so
chose.
that could have been at a park somewhere. And that might have been why they moved.
Yes, because now they can't hide that Teddy's a girl. So they got to get out of Dodge.
So Mallory wakes up in the dark cottage, bound to a chair with her arms tied behind her. She's gagged with a cloth, but her legs aren't bound. So Carolyn enters wearing blue gloves, showing Mallory a bag of heroin. Carolyn says Mallory stole the heroin from Mitzi's house, and Carolyn is going to make Mallory overdose. She's laying out her plan.
Yes.
Villain time.
Villain 101.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you all the things I'm gonna do because there's no way you could get out of it.
You ain't gonna live.
Let me tell you my story. All my
yes.
things. So Mallory accuses Carolyn of strangling Anya, and Carolyn says, like, she's just like has a break, and she's like, it was self-defense. Like, oh, Exhibit A. She admits that Ted was the man in the drawings. Caroline says she rescued the child, and Teddy remembers nothing.
So this is when it's all the things that have been happening, all the stories that Caroline was wielding about. This is clearly you and your past, and Russell is saving you from this hole. Obviously, Caroline knew the whole story, and she's like, you're drawing out what I did and what my husband did to kidnap
Yep.
this little girl. It wasn't just, I'm going to save this little girl. You're clearly
I
a
kidnapped
sick
her.
and twisted person.
So Caroline tries to defend her actions, admits that Anya's in her head, and it feels like a panic attack. So she's being haunted by Anya as well. So Caroline starts telling the story of stealing Teddy and murdering Anya. Caroline and Ted lived in Manhattan, and after not being able to conceive, they took a year sabbatical at Seneca Lake. She liked to walk around the lake, and that was when she met Margaret Barra and her daughter Flora. Margaret didn't speak English, and during the balloon festival, Flora was distracted by a rabbit and followed it. Carolyn followed her. Margaret found them in the woods. Carolyn stunned her with a taser, and she had a seizure. She covered the body in leaves and took Flora. Ted took care of the body and hid evidence. The police found the body. To evade detection, they cut Flora's hair, dressed her like a boy, told everyone in their circle that they moved to Barcelona, but they actually went to West Virginia. Teddy didn't speak for 6 months, obviously traumatized because
Yeah.
he saw her mother die in front of him. And the person who killed her is now saying, I love you.
I'm your mama.
Yes.
So Margaret's spirit found them in West Virginia. She visited Teddy during nap time, and they moved to Springbrook, but Margaret followed them. Bringing in Mallory was the Maxwell's attempts for the spirit to focus on someone else. So she's been ransacking their lives.
Once again, the nanny is brought in to hopefully take away the bad stuff.
Yes.
And you can be the person, because we don't really care about you. So we're going to give you this nasty
You're
spirit.
the target of all the negativity.
Right. So Carolyn admits that she killed Mitzi. She made her OD. And Carolyn, she figures it out. She's like, I'm not going to keep rambling. You're just trying to get me to stall. And she injects Mallory with heroin. As the substance enters her body, she sees the outline of Margaret in the cottage and thinks she's already dead. Mallory asks Margaret for help. She hears Margaret telling her to forgive herself. Ted enters the cottage to see Mallory crying, and he says he switched the heroin to baby powder, claiming he was always trying to protect her. Ted claims he and Mallory are going to run away to the West together, and everything's going to be fine.
Ugh.
Ted claims that they can't take Teddy because Caroline will follow them. Mallory hugs, and she's like, okay, I got to go along with the crazy.
Because I
this is
need
the
him to
only
get me
thing
out of this
that's-
situation.
yeah, it's gonna
I
get
need
me
you
out.
to untie me so I can get out. She goes along with it, and she's, I need to use the restroom before we go on this whirlwind trip. So she goes into the bathroom. Caroline enters and shoots Ted, and then makes Mallory sit back down. And Caroline tells Mallory about the webcam they placed in the cottage and how Ted would watch her.
Ew.
Caroline makes Mallory grab a knife
Forgot about that.
so she can shoot her in self-defense. Ted grabs Carolyn's legs. Mallory runs out of the cottage, and she hears a gunshot. So Ted does end up saving her by redirecting the gunshots at him.
I'm sorry, can you do those gunshots one more time?
Pop, pop.
Ooh,
Oh.
that sounded real life. What? Duck!
Mallory runs into the house, grabs Teddy, and heads to the enchanted forest. She really had, I can't leave her.
Yeah.
These aren't her parents. I need to save her. So they head to the enchanted forest behind the house, and Mallory hears sirens approaching because obviously someone called because there's gunshots in this
Yep.
idyllic town. There's a little tree hideout in the forest because, again, they know this forest. They go there
walk it
every
every
day.
Yes, every day.
So she places them in the tree hideout. Caroline finds them, and she's kind of trying, like, get down here, Teddy. Come to mommy. Teddy jumps down. There was an arrowhead that they left in that little tree hole. Teddy
Oh, yeah.
jumps down, has it in her hands, stabs Caroline in the neck with these arrow tip that they found. And Mallory senses that Margaret has taken over Teddy's body and is stabbing Caroline.
crazy.
Yes, this is insane. Mallory takes the arrow, and police find them in the creek. Mallory take the blame, and Margaret's spirit is gone when Teddy reawakens. So an epilogue 1 year later, Mallory writes that she's received many media offers to tell her story, but she's turned them down. She and Joseph, Flora's father, released a statement that they will not be telling their story and need private time to heal. So they did find Flora's dad. Mallory writes 85,000 words on her own directed to Flora. So she's telling the story for this little girl.
Right. Yes.
She explained that Ted died from a gunshot wound. Caroline died half an hour later, and Mallory confessed to killing her in self-defense. A social worker confirms that Teddy has female anatomy and matches the characteristics of a missing girl, Flora Boreth. About 8 weeks after the incident, Flora has chosen to be a girl. Her name is Flora, and she's wearing her cousin's dresses. Mallory's mother calls, leading to their reconciliation. 1 year after Carolyn's death, Mallory is 30 months sober. This is great. I'm
Yes.
surprised she stayed sober. This
I
is
know,
some
right?
shit to
'Cause
go
that
through.
is a lot of trauma to deal with and not revert back to your old ways.
But a year later, Flora's father finally says she hasn't seen this little girl
No.
since the incident.
They needed
saved her life.
She needed some help. She needed to get healthy mentally,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
like
They
you
were
are part
worried.
of the
Trauma.
the trauma. So yeah.
So she goes to see her with Adrian. Joseph welcomes them and says Flora no longer sees Anya. Flora is shy and doesn't speak to Mallory. Mallory gives her a new batch of art supplies. She gives Flora a pamphlet with all of her favorite recipes that they cooked together. She wrote her a little cookbook.
Yeah.
Mallory realizes Flora has been trying to forget her and she's trying to move on. So Flora runs off to go play with her cousins, and Mallory and Adrian prepare to leave. However, before they get into the car, Flora runs up to Mallory and hugs her. She gives Mallory a picture of the two of them, and when Flora is ready for the story, she will have the book that Mallory wrote for her.
The last part of Flora's trying to forget Mallory, and
It broke my heart
did.
because I felt like she just saved your life. And I know you had so much trauma, but there were good times with Mallory.
Right.
And
Yes.
But she needed to.
she needed to
let her go.
disconnect.
Yeah.
And she needed to go back to a life of what
and
she
it was
had.
like this feeling of conflict, right?
Yes.
I understand Flora needs it, but also she saved your life, and you guys were so close.
You were
and-
bonded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And that is the story of Hidden Pictures.
Yes.
It took a crazy turn that I did not anticipate,
Not at
which
all.
we can get into next week.
yes.
Should we give our ratings?
Let's give them.
Okay, so we base our books on a 3-shot system. 1 shot is I'm not coming back for more. 2 shots is it's good enough for another, but not worth the hangover. And 3 shots is it got me up. My husband was listening to our podcast and he was like, Rachel dropped quite a few F-bombs, but you guys bleeped one at the end. Did you realize that? I was like, yes,
We do that
did.
intentionally.
It's the only thing we bleep out.
Okay, so my rating is a solid 3-shotter.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Solid with confidence. I'm saying it with my chest.
Okay.
3 shots because
Good.
because I just love these types of stories.
Yeah.
It's all paranormally, and it had such a crazy twist that I did not expect. The whole time I was just sold on this house is haunted, and this woman is just trying to tell them about her past life. So when it took this crazy turn, I was jaw dropped. I need another page. I need another
Yeah.
page. It's 4:00 in the morning, and I need to go to bed. I gotta work tomorrow. So solid 3 shots for rocks.
Wow.
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna jump in now.
Oh
I'm
my
ready
God.
for it.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna say solid 3 shots. I mean, it wasn't even supposed to be on our list, and I was this is
No.
creepy, and
Yes.
I'm reading it and enjoying it, and I suggest you guys read it. I really liked it. I didn't love some of the ending, but I did love the twist. I loved the creepiness. I loved reading it and seeing the pictures because I feel like it
Yes.
added to the creepiness. So I'll give it 3 shots as well.
Rachel,
It's my turn
It's also
to be.
my jam, right? I
It
don't
is
know if it's your
also
jam, but
where-
thriller, paranormal,
Yes.
I'm
I do
into
like
it.
thrillers.
I live in this space.
Yes.
So I'm going to be the antagonist this week.
Oh, tell me how it feels, Rachel.
I'm comfortable. I'm giving it 1 shot. I did not like this book. I was pissed at the end. I hated it. It
Oh,
took me
wow.
forever to read. I'm sorry.
My heart hurts.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
I thought the way that the haunting was happening and how the ghosts followed them was just not how a haunting would happen. And it,
How you've experienced hauntings in
yeah,
your life?
exactly.
Okay. When I follow paranormal stuff, you either have a haunting of a location or you have a haunting of a person.
Yeah, or an object.
Yes.
Right, but she haunts Carolyn, Ted, Teddy, and her.
She technically is following Teddy.
Right. They said they hear her in her head. It wasn't. I like
I
thrillers.
mean-
I like paranormal. This book was not my jam. So
You know-
that's my rating.
I think that, I mean, I know you're saying you like thrillers and paranormal. I disagree with the reasoning you give it a 1 shop. I feel like the hauntingness of it was
I was
realistic,
never
but
scared.
realistic in the sense that
As much as it can be in haunting.
I never got a feeling of, oh, I'm scared, or I can't read this book at night, or I never got any of that from this book.
Oh, I did. I got some
So
creepiness
that's
to it.
if I felt that while I was reading, it might have been a 2.
I love it when there's differing opinions in our group.
But I never got that feeling. It was
Yeah.
just like, all right, cool.
I
She's
mean,
fine.
it was
She's
just
definitely
playing
got
on
it.
my childhood fears of the dark.
I think that, again, the pictures were like,
because they were
this is
creepy.
Clearly.
And especially
pictures
as
were-
especially as
okay.
they started to get more detailed. I was like, oh, dang. I'm in it. What's
Yeah,
happening?
trying to figure out the story of this ghost.
Yeah.
I found it was fun. Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Well, that's
Okay.
that.
Well, that is Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak. Rekulak. And we want to know what you guys think, and make sure you stop by our social media posting where we're going to post prompts. Our website, literatureontherocks.com, will have our book prompts, and join the discussion with us next week when we do our book club episode of this. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, Lit on the Rocks Pod, or head to literatureontherocks.com. And we'll see you guys next week.
Every Wednesday to the
Every
end of time.
Wednesday. Okay,
Okay,
bye.
bye.
Peace.